And we're live. What's up, Tucker?
How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm excited. I like your office space. Looks good back there.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, nice windows, nice view. I wore my Juju jersey today. I felt like it was important to bring it in.
Yeah, hang on a sec. I'm getting some feedback here, so I just need to...
I'll take your time. Fix what you got to fix. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, we're all good now. Sorry about that.
No worries. So, I went through the scores. I did not go through our overs and unders. I will go through those, and I will get those for the record. But I don't know if you know this, but we are all tied.
Yeah, I figured it'd be close based on how those games went. So
yeah, we are all tied. You got bailed out of 2 games, though. I think you got bailed out of 2 games.
Which 2 games did I get bailed out of?
Let me see here. Well, definitely that Rams Buffalo game, which was the most bogus call at the end of that game. No pass interference happened. They gave him – okay, I understand why they gave him that, though, because also there was a phantom interception from Josh Allen that never happened as well. I watched that game real close because I could not believe how well Buffalo played that first half. I was expecting that game to go the way the second half went, but the whole game. So it was really weird. I think maybe the Rams didn't respect them as much coming out. I don't know what happened. Maybe Buffalo's just really, really good. I texted you guys, texted the group, our group, saying, hey, I'm a Buffalo believer now, and I still am, even though I think that last flag for pass interference in the end zone, which ended up giving Buffalo, first and goal and getting them the win, basically, with no time left in the game, was complete dog shit. And Buffalo should have lost that game because that was the weakest call of pass interference ever. Even though that happened, I think Buffalo still should have won that game because there was that phantom interception. I know you know what I'm talking about. That just didn't happen. So, it was the most bullshit call ever for that interception. So,
I mean, these things happen, though. So, sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't go your way. It just that's just how it goes.
Oh, and I remember the second game. I remember now the second game that you lucked out, and that was the Bears call because you called the Bears over the Falcons, and that is just ridiculous. The fact that they sat Mitch Trubisky with a winning record in a game where he was losing by less than he was losing when we played Detroit, and he had half a game left, and he clearly did it in a single quarter against Detroit, and he could do it again. They actually had the balls to bench him. That shows you the short leash he was on from the beginning, and the fact that I think the entire staff believes in Foles from the beginning. So that was your second bailout.
Yeah, I mean, that was, I don't know. I think that was clear from the get-go. But I was honestly a little surprised he lasted as long as he did. I understand he had the good quarter against Detroit, and he had a good quarter last week too against the Giants, but 3 bad quarters to 1 good quarter is not, going to equate to winning football in the long run there. So, not that I think Foles is that much better, but I think that game was more about the Falcons collapsing than it was the Bears doing, well. And this is coming from a Bears fan here. So, yeah, I mean, I still stand by that pick. Obviously, it won out. But again, I think it's more due to the Falcons than anything else. They just collapse beyond belief.
Yeah, and they did the same thing against Dallas. So, I wasn't shocked. It seems like the Falcons just are collapsing, and without Julio it was tough. But I was shocked that they benched Trubisky in that game. I was expecting for a bench week 4, or I was expecting for him to get benched right after, in the Detroit game. I was expecting him to get benched in that game and have Foles come out and potentially beat Detroit week 1 and then be the reigning quarterback. But after going on week 1, coming back, winning that game, winning week 2, starting off pretty good on against Atlanta. Holding his own at least, going into a little bit of a deficit into half, but not anything crazy. I was expecting them not to bench him. I was shocked. But anyways, let's talk games. You want to start off with Thursday night?
Yeah, that seems like a logical place to start to me.
So we have the Denver Broncos versus the New York Jets. I have Denver at a negative 2.5.
Oh, man, that line must have changed.
What do you have?
I wrote it down as -1 earlier.
Minus
But
one? I'll take -1. I think -1's probably more realistic. Maybe mine's old. I'll take -1 with you. What do you have the over and under at?
I had it at 39.5.
Yep. I think Vegas anticipates the same thing as everyone else. Low scoring Thursday night game, probably pretty boring. But I'm going to watch it anyways because it's football, and who knows how long we'll have football with the COVID stuff going on, which we can talk about later.
That is true.
I'm gonna take the Jets. This is the one game they win. This is the one game that guarantees they're not an 0-16 team. This is the game that might cost them the first overall pick, which is hilarious. I think the Jets beat Denver here.
Well, I don't think the Jets go 0-16. You forget they do have to play Miami twice. So I should say not have to. They get to play Miami twice.
Miami looks amazing.
Oh, come on. Yeah, because they beat Jacksonville. So, yeah, they look amazing all of a sudden.
Did you see what they did against Buffalo?
Let's not be reactionary here.
Reactionary. I picked up Ryan Fitzpatrick today.
Listen, the Jets are not going 0-16. Okay, they're not good. I'm not trying to tell you that, but this is not an 0-16 team. That takes an epic level of bad.
I will preface
I
what I said by saying this. I'm going to come back a little bit. I agree with you if the head coach is fired on Friday after they lose potentially to Denver.
Oh, he's not making it through the season.
Well, if he does, it's an 0-16, 1-15 team. It just is. Like, I don't think they beat Miami.
I mean,
I don't think they have enough. I don't think they can score as many points as Miami can. I mean, Josh McCown did throw 3 touchdowns this week on Sunday.
We'll see what happens, but I don't think they're that bad. I don't think they're like epically bad like the Lions and the Browns were when they had winless seasons. So, however, that being said, I do not think this is the week that they win. I think Denver is the better team. I think Denver is going to be playing with more on the line because, like you mentioned, the coach Adam Gase for the Jets potentially getting fired. I think that's a situation where the players, I don't think they really like him that much. And
you think the players are going to throw the game potentially?
No.
And let Rippin, the number one draft.
I don't think the players are throwing the game. I don't think the players are going to throw the game. No. There's too much on the line for them, their careers and everything like that. However, my point here is you have 2 desperate teams, right? You've got Denver, you've got the Jets. They're both desperate for a win. I just think Denver cares more. I think Denver is going to fight harder, and I think they are the more talented team. So again, I'm not saying the Jets are going to throw it, but I don't think they're like necessarily in the locker room all fired up like, hey, we got to go win this one for coach. Like, I don't think they could care less if that guy gets fired or not. So in this case, I'm just going to go with the more talented team. So I'm going to take Denver.
All right, sure. And I'm taking the Jets, and I'm going to take the over in this game.
Yeah, I'm going over as well. That's a really low total. I don't want to flirt with that at all.
Yeah. All right, you want to jump over to Seattle versus Miami? That's the next one on my sheet. Is that okay?
Sure thing.
All right. So I have Miami at +6.5. I can see that getting higher, and I have them at a 54.5 overall over and under.
All right. I have looks like the line changed a little bit. I got 53 on the total.
Okay. We could do it at let's do it at 54.
54 sounds good to me.
We'll do it at 54. And what's you have a +6.5 from Miami as well?
6.5.
Okay.
Seattle favorite here.
Okay. I mean, I don't think we're going to really get in too much of a debate here. We're both going Seattle, right?
Yes, sir.
You can't bet against Russell Wilson right now. It's not possible. It's just not a thing. I will take a bet here that I think Carlos Hyde could be a very interesting play in DFS. I think he's coming in at a very, very cheap amount. I think him in your DFS lineup allows you salary cap for a lot of other players. I would highly, highly look at that. I would also expect to see Tyler Lockett very high in price range right now, considering the game he's coming off. And I would recommend pivoting to DK Metcalf because I think that either of them has the potential to do what the other one could. And DK is going to probably be coming in both on FanDuel's and DraftKings at a much cheaper rate. If you guys watched the game, DK did very, very stupidly, I know that's not a word, allow himself to get the ball poked out at the 1 yard line for a touchback. He would have had a 70-something yard touchdown on Sunday. If that didn't happen, he allowed a defender to come up right behind him when he wasn't paying attention and poke that ball out. I believe it was Diggs. If that didn't happen, it could have been a totally different game. So I'm looking at Hyde and Metcalf for my fantasy lineups, and I'm actually, regardless of what you say, Mitch, looking at Parker on the Miami team to light it up. I think this is a week where Fitzpatrick can get 4 touchdowns trying to keep up with Russell Wilson, and Seattle doesn't care because they get 5 or 6, and they win by 2 touchdown scores. So that's how I look at the game.
Yeah, Seattle's defense actually hasn't been that great this year. So I do also see a high-scoring game. I'm definitely taking the over on this one. I also had Hyde written down as a potential good play for Seattle, especially with Carson, being banged up here. I like Seattle, of course, on the spread, especially 6.5. You're telling me they just have to win by a touchdown? I mean, this could easily be like a 48 to 35 kind of a game. I see it as. I see Seattle winning by like 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I would agree. I wouldn't have been shocked to see like an 8-point spread on this one.
I think Miami's going to score some points, so this is definitely a good game to stack for DFS purposes. But they're not going to put up as many points as Russell.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting, actually. This week, we're going to have a lot of options on that stacking. So this is not the only 50-plus point game, the high number. And we can go to another one right now. Let's go to Cleveland versus Dallas, which is also a 55-point over-under on mine. I don't know if you have that, Mitch.
No, I do have that as well.
Okay, and then I have Cleveland at plus 4.5.
Mm-hmm, yep.
Okay. I'm taking Cleveland.
We're against each other, finally. I'm going Dallas. I guess we got 2 against each other so far. Yeah, listen, I don't like either of these teams. I think at the end of the day, they're both overrated, and they just, I'm not a big fan of either one. However, that being said, Dallas 4.5 against the Browns. I mean, is the Browns. Sure, they beat Cincinnati. Good for them. But I just don't think they're all that good. And I see Dallas covering this quite easily. They'll win by a touchdown. And then in terms of the total there, 55 points. I'm going to go under on this one, actually. That's a really high total for these 2 teams. No, they don't have the best defenses in the world, but at the same time, it's the Browns. So.
I agree, too. I think I'm going to take the under. I look at this game as Dallas can't stop the run. I don't think they're going to be able to, and I think Cleveland's just going to run the ball like insanity. And I usually never ever recommend this because I'm not a big fan of his. I wasn't a big fan of his when he was even on New York, when he was one of the best wide receivers in the game. But I would recommend potentially taking a look at OBJ at his price range. I can see Baker trying to air it out to him in this game. I can see a big gain there. I can see a touchdown there. So I would look at that. And I think between the 2 running backs this week, unlike most weeks for me, I would not be going with Chubb. I'd be going with Hunt this week. I think Hunt's going to have a big game against Dallas. I think Hunt being a pass-catching running back is exactly what Dallas is weak against. I think Hunt has been doing some really interesting things, getting a lot of fantasy points in a single quarter most of the time, making owners extremely nervous. But I think he is coming at a little bit of a discount on DraftKings. I'm not sure where he is on FanDuel's, but I recommend looking at him as well.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with all that. Yep. I agree with all that for sure.
And then on the Dallas side, I wouldn't get too concerned with Wilson. I believe his name was that he's like the 4th string on that team. I still think it's Gallup, Lamb. I mean, Gallup had a great game as well. But this week, I really do have faith in Amari Cooper. I think that's who they're going to be going to. So I would look at him. I wouldn't be playing him. I don't expect high output from him, but that's who I think is probably the best on the Dallas side in this game. And obviously always Zeke. I don't think there's any real reason not to play Zeke if you can fit him in your DFS lineup. He's always a good play. So.
Yeah, he's certainly never a bad play. I know he's usually going to be at the top of your price list there. We do have a comment here. Hunt is questionable, so definitely something to keep in mind for the Thursday game. You can obviously check that status before kickoff and make sure. But if Hunt plays, I think
he practiced today. Fine. Yeah, he practiced today, so I'm pretty confident of that.
He's probably going to play.
Yeah. Next game, let's go to New Orleans Saints versus Detroit.
New Orleans versus Detroit.
I got a
4.
Yeah, I got a 4 for Detroit. and 54-point over-under.
Yep, that sounds good to me.
Yep. And I think Thomas might be back.
Thomas might be back.
Yeah.
Either way, with or without Thomas, I'm going New Orleans here. You're telling me 4 points against Detroit? Has anybody watched Detroit play? Like, has anybody watched them play? I know they have a win. They did get their first win last week, so I'll give them credit for that. But I mean, and I know the Saints have had a couple disappointing losses here, but that makes me want to pick the Saints even more because the Saints aren't losing 3 games in a row.
Yep.
I feel like this is Drew Brees. Drew Brees is hearing all these people talk about how he's old and washed out and he can't throw it anymore. I honestly, I can see him coming out and just slinging it. I could see like a vintage Drew Brees game. So in terms of DFS, I would love a Drew Brees. Give me some Drew Brees. I don't even care who you stack them with.
Yeah, I don't think I'd play Drew Brees in DFS just because you lose all the running from a lot of the quarterbacks right now. But I'm also taking the Saints. I'm taking the over too. The 54 points is not scaring me. I agree with you. I think that the rumor mill and the internet and the memes are probably getting to Brees, that he's washed up, that he's old, he's not playing good. I thought he looked great against Aaron Rodgers. I just thought Aaron Rodgers looked better. If Michael Thomas plays this game, I expect to see Drew Brees just tear it up. If not, I still think they win. I still think they cover the spread, so we're both taking Saints. And I'm taking the over. You taking the under over at 54?
Over. I like the over here. I think the Saints could put up 54 almost by themselves. So
yeah, I agree. Let's jump over to Chargers versus Tampa Bay. I have them at a -7 for Tampa Bay and a 45 point.
Same. Yes, I do.
45 point over under. -7 is a lot. Has Tampa Bay really impressed you at all? I still am not super impressed by them.
On them. No.
Yeah, me neither. I think I'm going to take the Chargers.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think the Chargers have any business being a 7-point underdog here. Any business. I would put this game at closer to like 4.5 maybe. No, definitely Chargers +7 all the way. And I like the over here, 44 points.
Yeah, I'm going to agree as well. 44 points is too low.
Herbert's looked pretty good for the Chargers, and neither of these teams have like a defense that really scares you. So I certainly think there's going to be points put up. Tampa Bay has been putting up points. Again, I'm not like crazy impressed with Tampa Bay, but at the same time, I'm not unimpressed with them. They've kind of they've been a solid team. They're competing in the games that they're in, which is to be expected. They've got a lot of talent. But they've also been in pretty close games, and so have the Chargers. We just saw the Chargers, take the Chiefs. That went to overtime, didn't it? Last week too.
Yeah.
So
the Chiefs always play the Chargers poorly, but yeah, they did.
That's fine.
It was a game all the way to the end.
The Chargers are a good team. Anthony Lynn's a good coach. Herbert's been impressive at quarterback so far. I think the Chargers are a much better team than +7 against Tampa. So
I would agree. Yeah, the +7 is really where I'm having a hard time. Last week, I think both of us took the Chargers against the Panthers and we lost. And that was kind of interesting. I think that was mainly Mike Davis and both of us kind of underestimating what he was going to do on that offense. But I think this week with 7 points, I think that's the big difference, right? Panthers had 6 points, and we both thought the Chargers would still beat them because we were pretty high on the Chargers, and we're still pretty high on the Chargers, and now they're giving us 7. So I agree 100%. And with Godwin out, I think Brady's efficiency is down. I saw him with Godwin in the first half of that game, and he looked really good, and then he started going to Evans more. Twice. But Evans had like 2 touchdowns for 2 yards with 2 targets and 2 catches. It's like the weirdest stat line I ever saw in my life, by the way.
But no, going back to that Carolina upset. I mean, that's the NFL, man. Like,
yeah, I know.
At the end of the day, you got to remember that all these players are professionals. Like, this isn't college football. Every single player in the NFL is a very, very good football player. I know we like to rag on some of these teams and stuff, but at the end of the day, any team in the NFL can beat any other team. Yeah. Like, they're all professionals. So there's the old saying, that's why they play the games, and that is why they play the games. So you're never going to get them all right. Again, if you're listening to this as a fan of gambling, you're trying to get like 55% of your bets right, and then you're going to make profit. So it's not like you need to pick every single game correctly. You're trying to hit that 55% mark.
Or you can gamble like me, where you basically can lose 100 of them, but if you win one, you pay for all of them because you make the dumbest bets in the world.
Sure, and that's teach their own. Teach their own. As long as you're not betting your house or
Hey,
anything
check
like
out
that.
this parlay. It's like, what are the odds? 13,000 to 1.
Like, yeah, that's probably not going to happen. But
good.
You know what? When it does, there you go. So
it's just fun to watch.
I wouldn't recommend that. Again, I try to take a little bit more of a conservative approach, but yeah.
I've just been loving first touchdown bets. Those are my favorite. I mean, I swear, I hope they man, what would be cool if I could bet on 40K games, like 40K tournaments, just like start betting on them. Like, who's gonna? I mean, technically, it's
you
legal.
never know, man.
I could fix that up. That'd be cool.
So you never know.
All right, so we're both on Chargers. We're both in the over.
Yeah.
I think we're both gonna be we're gonna be the same for a little while because we're gonna go to the Bears and Colts next. And
all right, well, you know what I'm picking.
I mean, this is a clear upset. The Colts have 3 points. The Colts are at a -3. They're giving the Bears 3 points with a 45-point over and under. We got Nick Foles and arguably a top 5 wide receiver the rest of the year, Allen Robinson. I honestly don't see any way in hell Phillip Rivers and the Colts beat the Bears. I take the 3 points all day long. I would be shocked if you took the opposite, so I'm just going to write you in already for the Bears, and you could tell me if you're over and under.
Yeah, definitely taking the Bears. And again, I know I'm a fan, but that's not even me being biased. That's just the numbers say the Bears. I mean, the Bears should be favored in this game. I think. I don't understand why they're an underdog. Yes, they're probably one of the luckiest 3-0 teams in history. But has Indy really impressed anybody? No. So I am going the under in this game, though. I think the Bears defense wakes up a little bit. They've definitely shown some flashes of the old defense, but I think this week they really flex their muscles. I don't think Foles is that great, and I don't think we've seen the last of Trubisky. I certainly think he's coming back at some point because I don't see Foles, leading the Bears to the glory land or anything like that. However, I do think it's a bit of a shot in the arm to the team, and I think it's going to pump people up. And I think you're going to see the defense coming out with a little bit of feistiness here. So I think the Colts are going to struggle to put up 20 points. Like I honestly see this being like a 21-17 kind of a game in favor of the Bears.
I'm going to write that down as a prediction, and we'll touch base on it later. I like it though. I like it. I don't have enough football knowledge to try to guess the score. I do have a weird feeling that we could see some serious running out of Indianapolis. So I'm curious to see what kind of run game they put on, but that'd be kind of where I'm concerned. I don't think Phillip Rivers is going to be like coming out there with 45 passes, completing 39 of them or something like that for 3 touchdowns. I think it's going to be more about like the run game from the Colts perspective. But I am interested to see how Foles does for a full game. So that's all.
Yeah, I do have a fantasy note here.
Go ahead.
My guy Tariq Cohen, I'm repping his jersey right now, goes down with the torn ACL, unfortunately, so he's out. Cordarrelle Patterson is worth maybe a kind of like a sneaky bench stash if you're playing season-long fantasy, only because he counts as a wide receiver, but he's gonna basically slide into that role Tariq was occupying. So he's gonna get I would anticipate him getting maybe up to like 8 carries a game in certain situations while also still playing receiver. So anytime you can get a
dirt
receiver,
cheap on DFS too. Dirt cheap.
Anytime you can get a running back who's basically slotted in as a receiver, that's pretty valuable in fantasy. So.
No, I second that for sure. For me, I'm smashing Allen Robinson in this game potentially. I think it's going to be interesting with the good quarterback. What I saw him do this last week was awesome. He was never able to get the ball to him. That was all until the end. But yeah,
he gets open all the time.
It's just amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Let's go over to the Arizona Cardinals versus the Carolina Panthers. I have the Panthers at a +3.5 with a 52-point over and under, which I think seems high, but that's probably because of Arizona. I'm shocked the spread isn't bigger. So my initial take is Arizona.
Yeah, I think this is an overreaction to last week. I do also like Arizona here. And I do like the under. That total is a little bit too high for my liking.
I 100% agree. I don't understand why it would be any other way. So We're going to agree on that one. Out of that one, any mentions for DFS?
I mean, again, you have another high total there, so not a bad game to try and stack. Kyler Murray,
I
stacking with
even like him naked, by the way.
sure,
Yeah, he's great. He just runs, he scores.
yeah, sure.
You know who I would not play? Kenyon Drake. I would forget he exists because when the Cardinals are within the 10-yard line and they're anywhere near the goal line, within the red zone, it's the Kyler Murray show. I mean, I don't think the NFL channels have done enough of a service to Kyler Murray. He murdered somebody on Sunday. Like, he broke all ankles, knees, legs of a defenseman who cannot be named. I mean, if you haven't seen his touchdown run on the opening drive where he just disintegrated a human being, you should go check it out. Cause like, it's what I picture, like, I don't know, like a gene stealer doing when he's charging a unit and like just ripping off it. Like, it's a guardsman versus a gene stealer. Kyler Murray literally just disintegrated this man. And I highly recommend going back and checking it out. Just go highlights. So yeah, Kenyon Drake, forget him. He doesn't exist. He's not an actual player. It's the Kyler Murray show. And I feel bad for anyone who drafted him. As far as the other side of the ball, Robbie Anderson. Robbie Anderson's looking great. He's looking fantastic. Ever since he left the Jets and the Jets coaching staff, he's looking great. And I think Mike Davis is the real deal for fantasy, at least. He's getting 9 targets, 2 weeks in a row almost. He's getting a lot of points. Whoever went out and spent the waiver bucks to get him or your pick, good job. And in DFS, he's still cheap. He's still being underestimated. So I think in this game, which is a high-scoring game, 52 point over and under, I highly recommend considering him. So.
Yeah, I actually think DJ Moore might have a nice game here. His kind of like ancillary numbers are really good. Like, he's getting the targets, the yards per target in the air is right where you want it to be. It's just he doesn't quite have the touchdown production that you want, but I can see that changing. So I do like taking a look at him, DJ Moore. So
I could agree with that too. Yeah. All right, let's jump over to Minnesota versus Houston. I got Houston at -3.5.
yeah, I couldn't find a line for this game, so I think they took it off the board currently just because of the uncertainty with Minnesota.
It's back on. Minnesota's is back on. That one is back on for sure. Tennessee is the one that's going to be on Tuesday night potentially.
Yeah,
but Minnesota is back on.
News, but I'm not seeing. I mean, I've got 3 different books, and I'm not seeing the line.
Oh wow, really?
So I know.
So I'll give you mine. So my line that I got earlier today is a -3.5 for Houston.
Okay.
And 54.5 over and under.
Okay. Yeah. I would choose Houston there. I know Minnesota was my upset pick last week, and I really thought they were gonna get that win. I thought they'd be desperate, and I thought they're better than they were. But going 0-3 to start the season, I'm sorry, Vikings fans, but you got a big hole to climb out of. You got a 3-0 Packers team leading the NFC North. They look legitimate. Again, the Bears, they're probably the luckiest 3-0 team in the world. I'm not gonna say that they're a threat. But you know, it's done, Minnesota. I'm sorry. They're not making the playoffs this year. And I think they probably know that as well. Yeah, I agree with we got a comment from Gary. Kirk Cousins is terrible. He is terrible. He's awful. I mean, he's going to give you like 2 or 3 good games a year. You're going to get those flashes. But honestly, and Gary, you can comment on this if you want to. I think Zimmer is not an awesome coach. Like, he was really good the first couple of years. But what I've noticed is he has not adapted his style at all. And I think the league has just figured him out. Like, I think they figured out that defense. It's nowhere near, like, it used to be a scary defense, right? Like, you go and play the Vikings, and you're like, oh man, that's a tight defense. We're gonna have to win like a 17-14 kind of a game. Now you go and play them, you're like, all right, whatever. We'll just do what we want. We'll play we can run whatever offense we want on them just because they figured them out. So yeah, it's partly Kirk Cousins. But I think the coach is to blame as well. You know, you gotta adapt in the NFL. You gotta change. Otherwise teams are going to figure it out. You know, people are too smart.
Yeah. I agree. I have Houston as well, and I'm going to take the under in this game as well. So, but I agree with what you're saying. I've seen the same thing in the games I'm watching. But 54.5 over and under is just ridiculous. So definitely going to take the under for this game.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go under on that too. So, did you take Houston?
Yeah, I took Houston as well.
Okay,
yeah.
so we're the same.
I mean, I called Minnesota last week for the complete demise and shamble of their team.
Hey, they covered the spread though, so I still got that.
Yeah, they covered the spread. Yeah, you got the point.
I thought they would win. I thought they'd win outright.
Yeah, you got the point. I just said that they were completely done.
Yeah, no, and you know what, you were right. You're right. I mean, they showed a little bit of fight, but they still lost by a point. And yeah, Gary, I feel bad for Dalvin Cook as well. He is great, and especially with running backs, you know, your shelf life is so short. Like you basically have 4, 5, 6 years in your prime as a running back. So their window has closed. They needed to win the Super Bowl like 2 or 3 years ago, and they kind of blew it. So. Yeah. But it's tough, you know. That the only one out of 32 teams wins it every year. So, yeah.
Gary, Dalvin Cook's on my team, by the way, in our actual league. Makes me very sad. Next on my list here is the Baltimore Ravens versus the football team. I have Washington at a 13.5 positive, and I can't believe it, but I'm gonna take Baltimore.
Yeah, I'm at 13, but 13.5, it still hasn't reached that critical number of 14. And I usually do not take favorites that are double digits. But how do you not take Baltimore here? Okay, they just came off of a bad game against Kansas City. You know they're going to be pissed off. You know they're going to want to show the NFL that they are still one of the top teams, and they just had a fluky game. And like Washington, you know,
the
moment.
Give them
credit. Listen, I'm gonna give them credit. They've shown a little bit of fight. Okay, they've shown some fight. They're not. This is no New York Jets. Okay, they've shown some spunk, but they don't got a chance against Baltimore.
No, I don't think so. Not in any way, shape, and form, and especially not after that beat. When Tony Malave posted Lamar Jackson's on deck, I'm frustrated. I don't like him anymore. You guys should have never drafted him. Why is he even on my team? I'm trading him. I sent him probably 15 trades within the hour, and he rejected all of them, and I was very sad.
Of course he did.
He rejected every single trade I sent him, and then Amela sends him one trade, and he's like, "Ooh, I like Tom Brady," and he took the trade just because he likes Tom Brady, which is ridiculous.
It wasn't a bad trade though. I mean,
yeah, but I probably sent him worse trades. Obviously, Phillip Rivers and T.Y. Hilton probably not as good.
No,
but the problem is I had nothing better to offer. So yeah, whatever. What are you gonna do, Gary? If we replace Tony Malave next year, we'll let you know, and you could join our league. So next on my list, we're both going Baltimore. I'm taking the over, by the way, Mitch. You taking the over? 51
no,
points.
I'm going under.
You're going under
this game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right,
I do think Baltimore is going to put up like 30 something, but I don't know if Washington scores.
I think McLaurin might score.
Yeah, maybe.
Scoring McLaurin.
I don't like to predict individual players to score. I know you were saying you like to do those first touchdown bets. I only ever do those when I get like a bonus with them. I know DraftKings has been doing.
They've been doing a lot of them, promotional stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, the promotions where it's like if you pick the guy to score the first touchdown, and if he doesn't, but if he scores any other time, then you get your money back. Like that, then I'll throw $10 on like one of the big studs, like typically a running back.
Yeah, we both did it on Kamara. Both of us did it on Kamara in the Saints game.
Yeah,
we both
Kamara,
won.
I've done it on Kamara. I've done it on Christian McCaffrey before. It just kind of depends on the game, but in general, I like to avoid those bets. They're just too unpredictable.
Amela wants to know if you're trading Aaron Rodgers for Antonio Gibson.
Which side of that am I on?
You have Antonio Gibson.
Yeah.
She wants him for Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, like legitimately.
She's
I thought it was
standing right
a
there.
Hypothetical question.
No, she's what? Standing right there.
Let me think about that one. I don't know. Honestly, like I'm not inclined to like trade a lot right now. I really like my team. I'm not gonna lie. I know you sent me a trade offer to get my tight end.
I did because you have two of them and you just don't play him, and I believe in him and I love him, and I'm getting his jersey.
That's why I got him.
I'm getting his jersey and he's like my favorite, and I offered you one of the best.
He's done anything yet.
He's amazing, dude.
He's really good.
Have you seen how big his hands are? Have you seen how big that human is?
No.
He's just amazing, dude. I was watching YouTube videos of him training and stuff. Mo Alley Cox is like he is a lumberjack. He's the biggest human I've ever seen, probably. And I haven't seen him in real life, but I would love to stand next to him. I would love for just someone to stand next to me and make me feel like I'm a tiny person. Like I could jetpack on them. That's like the most awesome feeling ever. And Mo Alley Cox could do that for me. So I offered you Ingram. I gave you Ingram for him. I gave you Ingram for a dude that you're just going to keep on your bench anyways. Yeah, I said Evan Ingram.
No.
I sent you Evan Ingram.
Oh, yeah, Evan Ingram.
Yeah.
Tight, like, I don't. Yeah, but here's the thing.
One of the best tight ends.
He's all right.
He's having a slow year, and you know he's gonna have it turned on. You know it is gonna happen. It's just taking time.
I'm not gonna say it's not gonna happen, but it's not about
Evan Ingram is gonna be a top 10.
You know, sure, maybe, but clearly you like Mo Alley Cox too. So maybe
I only like Mo Alley Cox for the same reason I like Juju. I just like them. I just like the dude. Like he's just amazing. Like he's the coolest.
Well, send me a better offer and we'll talk. Because I don't necessarily need another tight end. You know, that's what I'm saying. So.
Yeah, but you don't need Mo Alley Cox either. He's sitting on your bench, bro. You're never even gonna play him.
Well, yeah, there's value there though. See, clearly you want him, so it's value.
I hate your face. All right, let's go to the next one.
Let's keep moving on.
Let's go to the Giants. Actually, we were just talking about Evan Ingram.
Sure.
Giants versus Los Angeles Rams. I forgot to get this spread. Do you have the spread?
Plus 13.
Plus 13. Okay, that sounds
Giants,
good.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. And 45 points, right?
Total's at 48.
48. All right, 48 and plus 13. Let me write that down. Rams, right?
This is a situation where I'm actually going to take the underdog. Again, 13 points is a lot here. I don't think the Giants are good, but I also don't think the Rams are like amazing. They're good, but they're not like amazing. So 13 points is a lot. Again, in the NFL, everyone's professionals. I don't usually like to take double-digit favorites. I know I did with Baltimore, but I'm not going to do that twice in 1 week. So I'm going to go Giants plus 13.
You taking the under then? I'm assuming.
I am taking the under. Yes.
I mean, you have to at plus 13. I'm gonna take the over, and I'm gonna take the Rams.
Yes, we got our. Is that our first one? We're against each other on both.
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah,
nice.
It is. It's the first one we differentiate. I mean, we differentiate on the over and under quite a bit, but that one we differentiate on pick and over and under. Pittsburgh versus Tennessee might not happen, but if it does, the spread I have is +1 for Tennessee, and a 47-point over and under. This is really like a pick 'em, to be honest. But I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh. So.
Yeah, Pittsburgh. What'd you say the total was? 47.
47.
Yeah, Pittsburgh. I would go with again if the game happens. Looks like it might happen on Monday or Tuesday now.
Yeah, it looks good for Tuesday. I love that because that's Tuesday Night Football, so that's awesome.
Tuesday Night Football would be fantastic.
That'd be amazing. I might go to Emerson's,
not be
get some wings,
at all.
Just chill out.
I'll meet you there.
See you there.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh. Yeah, I like Pittsburgh here. I think Tennessee. I mean, they keep proving me wrong.
I would probably be more inclined to go with Tennessee if AJ Brown was playing, but he's not practicing, so I don't think he's gonna play. And I think Tannehill just didn't look so sharp week 3. He kind of came out of week 2 pretty well, but week 1 it was a lot of Brown, and without him, I'm a little worried about the team, to be honest. So, that's the main reason why I'm going Pittsburgh, and also Juju, baby. My guy.
Well, Pittsburgh's got a good defense, man.
They do. They look like a solid team.
Yeah. Tannehill's had some flashes, but he's going to go against a legit defense this weekend. So
I'm also going to take the over at 47. By the way.
Yeah, I'll go over on that as well. Even though there's good defense, that's a fairly low total for the NFL, and both these teams can put up some points here. I could see a lot of running, which gets a little dangerous because the clock runs a lot. However, over. Yeah, we're going to be the same on this one.
Yeah, and I'm going to be looking for a prop bet on this one with Derrick Henry. I don't know what it's at. I'm going to check it out, though. But if it's anything reasonable, if it's below 100 yards, I'm taking it in this game. I'm telling you right now.
Fair enough. Yeah, I could see that.
Bills versus Raiders. +3 for the Raiders at a 52.5 point over and under. Oh,
Bills
man,
versus Raiders. I have just -3, but
are the Bills going to go 4-0? Like, man, I'm so happy for Bills
fans.
It's
-3 right now.
Yeah, I have Raiders. I have Raiders +3, so same thing. Yeah.
I actually like the Raiders here.
Wow.
And I know.
The
And
Bills guy.
I went
taking the
back and
Raiders.
forth on this because I have been on the Bills bandwagon since before the season started. And you know that. I was talking smack at the draft party saying the Bills are going to win that division. And I still think they do.
Who's it at?
However,
is it in Buffalo or is it in
no,
Las
it's
Vegas?
in Vegas. So can you get that Metallica ready for me?
Yeah.
Because you know John Green's in his office right now. Slamming Red Bull. Metallica on blast. He's like running through the locker room, giving guys wedgies, like getting them fired up. I don't even know what that guy does, but like you just know, like he's sometimes you just know.
Oh my
And
God,
this is one of those
you're
times
almost
where
gonna talk me into it, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna stay at Buffalo, and I'm gonna take the under 52 and a half.
He's in that stadium, his office. He's just sitting in that stadium. You can see that big, the Al Davis torch with the Vegas Strip behind it. He's just sitting there, man. Like he's got like
jacked,
a pyramid of Red Bulls behind him. He's just stacking those cans up.
No. He's got a wizard cane. He's got a wizard cane. He
Yeah.
taped all the Red Bulls together to make it like a giant wizard cane. It's like 13 Red Bulls tall. So he just walks around with that.
He's gotten 2 hours of sleep all week. Like no, I like the Raiders here.
You taking the over or under at 52 and a half?
I'm gonna go over as well.
I'm gonna take under. So we're exactly opposite on this. I'm taking Buffalo under. You're taking Raiders and over. So I love it. Where's my Pikachu? There he is. All right. Let's jump over to Philadelphia versus San Francisco. I have San Fran and a negative 6.5 and a 45-point over and under.
Yeah, I have 7 now. I think the total did move to 7.
That's fine. I'll take 7 too.
7's great actually because that's a very key number. And then yeah, 40. I have the total at 46 now. It looks like it moved.
Yeah, it probably moved a little bit.
But that's actually fine because I liked the under anyways, and it went from 45 to 46. So I like the under even more now. In that game, and then I like Philly. Give me a touchdown.
All right.
I know, Philly made me mad last week, man. I gotta talk about this real quick because they were one of my Survivor picks. I'm in the Survivor League. It's a pretty big league. There's like 220 people in it. Really big cash prize.
I told you they weren't gonna win.
What's up?
I told you they weren't gonna win.
And they didn't. I know, you're right. But anyways, my other 3 teams all won, but I picked them, and like I don't mind. Like you're gonna lose Survivor, right? That's the whole point of it. Like you're not gonna pick every single win. No one's going to. But to lose on a tie when you're in potential field goal range,
it hurts.
And they played a tie. Like that's what made me mad. Is they played for the tie.
Neither team tried to win.
Was it a long field goal? Yes, it was a long field goal. It was like 63, 64 yards. That's a long field goal. I'm not gonna say it's not, but that's a makeable field goal, man. When there's a minute left, you're playing for the tie. Like they had zero chance of getting the ball back. Like that was just not going to happen.
Have to kick
Why
it.
do you not kick the field goal? Like that was unbelievable.
Well,
Such a stupid coaching move.
And even if they missed the field goal, they could have ran the timeout.
Well, no. If they missed the field goal, then the other team would have gotten the ball and maybe would have had a chance to score.
How many seconds? How many seconds
they were
left?
literally playing for the tie. It was like a minute left.
Oh, it was a minute left. That's probably why they didn't. If they kicked the field goal and they missed, then they.
I'm gonna quote Herm Edwards here. You play to win the game. All right, you play to win the game. I lost all respect.
Eagles coaching staff was so sad.
Eagles coaching staff.
I
used to respect that guy.
They were
Peterson.
scared, bro.
I think he's a good coach. I lost respect for that man.
He didn't want to go 0-3.
Win, man.
He didn't want to go 0-3.
Got to play to win.
Yeah.
And you know what? Here's the hilarious thing about that. They still gained a half a game on everybody else in that division because that's like such a pathetic excuse for a division.
That's exactly why they didn't risk it because they knew that they could win the division. Yeah, that's
probably right.
Long. They're looking long perspective.
No, you play to win the game.
You know who would have kicked that field goal? Gruden would have kicked 2 field goals. He would have said.
Of course, Gruden would have kicked. Gruden's the guy who picked a kicker in the first round. Of course, he would have kicked that field goal, man.
Oh man, that's funny. I'm gonna take San Fran.
I think he did it twice.
Who did it twice?
Gruden. I think he picked a kicker in the first round twice. Because
wow.
When he was in Oakland the first time, Janikowski, you remember him?
Yeah.
The big drunk Polish guy.
Yeah. I remember Janikowski.
Yeah,
he's awesome.
I'm pretty sure he was great, but I'm pretty sure he was a first round pick. And then
you gotta have a good kicker, man. Talk to Bears fans.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. A few years ago, he picked what's his face, who was actually ended up on the Bears. I can't remember his name. That's how bad he was. But yeah, he was a first or second round pick, and he's not even in the league anymore. So yeah, John Gruden would definitely kick that.
That's hilarious. Yeah, no, I'm taking San Fran in this one against Philly. So, but I'm also going to take the under though. I don't think it goes that high. 46 is pretty low, but I feel like this is a very low game. So, take the under. New England versus KC. I got KC at a -7 at a 53.5 point spread. Thoughts?
Has anybody else been watching the Chiefs this year? Like, how are they not a 20-point favorite? Chiefs,
all the points.
It's like,
at this point, it's like I think right now Chiefs money line is like -380 or something like that. Like if you bet Chiefs money line, you still owe them money somehow. Like that's where it is.
Actually, the Chiefs, I usually don't. Okay, so the Chiefs money line is -295, and like I do not recommend playing money lines that are that big, but like lay 295 to win 100 on the Chiefs.
Parlay it with a Kelsey touchdown. Seems legit.
I'm not gonna recommend that, but like, dude, this is not the old Patriots. Like, and the Chiefs were better than the old Patriots. Like this team is legit, man. Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm taking the same thing. I think we're
-7, -10, -14. I don't care. Give me the Chiefs.
Yeah, they're gonna win. Period. I think Patrick Mahomes just checks the spread before he plays, and he's like, "We're gonna make sure we cover that."
And over for sure. Again, this is
I'm taking the over.
The Chiefs could go over by themselves.
Yeah, they could. Looking for Hardman in this game, by the way. If you saw the game, Chiefs game this week, which I think most people watched, Hardman dropped one in the end zone. Another one was taken away from penalty, and then he scored a third. He was targeted quite a bit. He's really cheap on DFS, FanDuel's, DraftKings, everything. He's underneath Kelsey, he's underneath Hill, he's underneath Sammy Watkins, he's underneath Robinson sometimes. I really think Hardman is that one player that you can plug into a lineup without Mahomes, without anyone in that game. You just kind of plug him in and just hope, and you play another game, and he's your pivot point. To get a little bit of controversy, to fade kind of what everyone else is taking in that game, but potentially get a player who could literally give for three catches for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. It's very likely for Hardman in any given game with KC. So.
Yeah, I do think that's a good strategy. Taking Chiefs especially, they're probably the best example of it, but taking a player who's not necessarily one of the top guys, who's really cheap, and also is going to have low ownership, especially if you're doing one of those millionaire makers, big pools trying to win it. You're not going to win it with like a chalky lineup, right? You're going to have to take some flyers in there. So taking guys on good offenses.
Yeah, if you have a Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf stack this week, right, with a Carlos Hyde, and you're just betting on Seattle tearing apart the Dolphins, which I think is a good bet, and you have Russell Wilson, Carlos Hyde, DK Metcalf, and maybe you threw in Devontae Parker in that game, and you're playing that game stack, you're playing that 55-point over and under. If you throw in a little Hardman on the side, boom, that's a pivot point that a lot of other people aren't going to have that played those same players in that game. Highly recommend it. It's how I usually do things. I probably go a little overboard, but that's
fine.
how
I
would go.
You kind of have to. Like the first guys you mentioned, those are great plays, but you're gonna be one of like 100,000 people that has that lineup.
Yeah, tons of people have that lineup. Tons of people have that same lineup. But who has Hardman in that lineup? Who has Wilson on San Francisco
Cox in that lineup?
I had Wilson on San Francisco last week. It was a great pivot point. Won me $40. Right? If I didn't have Wilson in my lineup, just random Wilson Jr. on San Francisco, I just banked that he's going to get the touchdown over Jerick McKinnon. That's it. It's just a little plug and play. Didn't even play that game. The only player I had. But it was a great pivot point for me. Got me above everyone else that had the same stack as me, which was the Russell Wilson, Tyler Lockett stack. So it was really nice. So highly recommend it. I'm going to jump over to the Falcons in Green Bay. I have Green Bay at a -7.5 with a 58. Is that 58 points?
Is that
right?
I had 57.5.
All right,
it might have changed.
Yeah, wow. Jeez, that's really high. This one's tough. I think Devontae Adams sits one more week because they're on bye after that. I don't see why they play him. I think Green Bay covers. Rodgers looked fantastic against the Saints. The Saints are a better team than the Falcons. The Falcons just lost to Nick Foles and the Bears. So I think Aaron Rodgers lights him up. I'm gonna play Aaron Rodgers regardless of Devontae Adams. And if Devontae Adams does happen to play, this is a just disaster of a blowout. I mean, this is going to be insane.
I could see that happening. I definitely could. But I am going to go with the Falcons here.
Wow.
So I know I'm going to take the contrarian play here. All the public money is on Green Bay. All the public money is on Green Bay. But and for good reason, right? Atlanta's shown that they just blow leads in the fourth quarter. However, I think that is a little bit fluky. And I see them staying. I think they can stay within a touchdown. I'm not saying they're going to win this game. No. But 7.5, you're saying they can lose by a touchdown and I still win the bet? I'm going to take that. So
over and under at 58?
I do like the under here.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the under as well. And I think I said it last week. I think Russell Gage, if he plays, really good option. He ended up sustaining a concussion in week 3. It broke rosters everywhere. It broke 3 of my lineups out of the 10 I make every week. I typically make 10 every week, and 3 of them had Gage in them. And when he went out for the concussion, it crushed me. And it might have also helped the Bears win that game. But I highly recommend taking a look at him if you're stacking in this game. I think Rodgers is probably going to come at a premium price, whereas Matt Ryan will come a little lower, and I expect them both to be relatively similar in score. I don't like taking quarterbacks that don't run in DFS, but if you were to take a stack with Matt Ryan, I think it's crazy not to go with Ridley, and then potentially consider Gage as well. I do think that this game, even though at 58, I know I'm crazy, I know I sound insane, I'm going to take the over. I'm also going to take Green Bay. So this is another game, Mitch, where we are completely opposed. I have the over, you have the under. I have Green Bay, you have the Falcons.
All right, I like it. Perfect.
And Pikachu's back. Next game I got on the list is Jacksonville versus Cincinnati.
Yeah, we went a little out of order, but that's fine because that is the Monday game, the Green Bay game. But no worries. Jacksonville
that's my bad.
plus 3 I have.
Oh, I
49-point total?
Yep. I got Jacksonville at plus 3 as well. 49 point over and under. Yep.
I see this game as just being a close game.
And
we got 2 teams. Neither team's like awesome.
I know why I held this to last, by the way. I know why I held this to last. I have a plea. I have a plea to the Joe Mixon. Can you fucking do something? That's my plea. My plea's done.
Sorry,
I need Joe Mixon. I need Joe Mixon to show up. I had faith in him. I got really excited. I traded for him in 2 different leagues. I've been pretty much playing him on DFS almost every week in a single lineup, just waiting for the week where that team decides to say, "Hey, why don't we do some shuttle passes to the best player on our team?" I don't know. Might work. Might not. Not sure. Let's try it. I was super disappointed with Sample. I think out of everything I said last week, and I said a lot of claims last week, I was the most wrong about Cincinnati. That's what I'll say. I envision them destroying the Eagles. Right?
Yeah, the issue with Cincinnati is they are just like Burrow's good, but they're not very good around him. Their offensive line isn't very good. Oh, actually, I see Gary just commented about that too. Yeah, the Bengals O-line, I agree. They're not good at all. They're terrible.
Oh yeah, they're so bad. But you don't need an O-line to be good. Look at what Hunt's doing on Cleveland. I mean, Cleveland has a great O-line, but he's not being used that way. And they can use Joe Mixon the same way Cleveland's using Hunt. They can use him the same way Jacksonville's using Mike Davis or Carolina is. They can use him the same way that like Deion Lewis was used in the past when he was on the Titans. I mean, there's a lot. This guy can break tackles. He can punch through things. They're just handing him off the ball in the backfield with the worst O-line ever. It's annoying. I hate watching it. It makes me sad in every way.
Yeah, it does seem uncreative.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And Sample. Did you see week 2? I don't know if you watched week 2. I watched week 2 of Cincinnati. and the Uzuma got injured. Sample came out as the backup tight end, and I swear to God that quarterback was peppering him. I mean, throw after throw after throw after throw, and Sample was catching them all. I think he had 9 targets for 8 catches for 54 yards, something like that. But it just looked like there was chemistry there. It looked like the two of them had something. I went all in on him pretty much everywhere. I had 4 lineups in DFS with him as the tight end because he was like basically free. And I took him everywhere I could. And 1 target. He had 1 target in overtime. That's it. For like a yard.
These things happen.
It was the saddest thing ever. I'm hoping for a bounce back, but I'm probably forced to play Evan Ingram and hope that Daniel Jones targets him more than Sample gets targeted. I was wrong about AJ Green as well. I thought AJ Green could have a big game. He didn't. So it's just, I don't know, man. I watched that team, and it seems like they have all the right pieces for talent. They just have to reposition the way they approach the game and they approach the offense, and they're just not doing it. And it's just confusing to me.
They have the right skill pieces. They've got good receivers. They've got a good running back. They got a good quarterback. They need to invest in their offensive line and their defense. I mean, they're giving up points too. So they're by no means a perfect team. And there's a reason that they finished dead last in the league last year and got Joe Burrow. So they're still a couple years away from anything. But if you're a Bengals fan, I wouldn't. I mean, I think the future is bright for Bengals fans. Just this just isn't going to be your year. So just enjoy Burrow while you got him. Enjoy the process. It's going to take him a little while to get his feet under him, and then just hopefully this offseason you guys can reinvest in your offensive line, and then they should be much better.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I think we went through pretty much every game. Did we miss anything? That's all the games I have on my list.
No, I think we got them all.
All right, cool. We have a couple of differences of opinion this week. We still have some parts where we obviously agree on, but I'm excited. We'll add to the score. Right now we're 4-4 tied. This week I think we disagreed on more than just 8 games, so we should probably have a higher score next week. So I'm excited, and I'll get the overs and unders tallied as well. Who in your mind, Mitch, is the DFS player this week to play? The one guy that you should be targeting, the one guy that you should go out and try to get and play and build a roster around. Who are you thinking?
That's a good question. I know you mentioned him before, but I actually really like Carlos Hyde for his value on Seattle. I think that's going to be one of the highest scoring games of the week.
It is.
I think he's going to get a lot of targets in the pass game, and also he's got the rushes, and he's at a pretty good value. So I think just in terms of the value versus the potential production, I'm gonna go with Hyde.
Okay, no, it's cool. I'm gonna go with the running back as well, and I think we're gonna see. Mine has a contingency. If we don't see Devontae Adams playing this week, I think it's going to be an Aaron Jones game. I think we're going to see 3 touchdowns from Aaron Jones. I think we're going to see over 150 yards from Aaron Jones. I think it's going to be massive. I'm going to be plugging Aaron Jones in 3 to 4 lineups if Devontae Adams is not on the field. If Devontae Adams is playing and is on the field, then I'm going to be looking to start probably Josh Jacobs in as many lineups as I possibly can. I think that the Oakland Raiders are going to – I mean, Josh Jacobs looked fantastic. They played in Vegas last time. Waller looked great as well. I think defenses are going to naturally shut down Waller. They're going to double team him. They're going to give him the Gronkowski treatment for the rest of the season after what he did in that stadium on opening night. He murdered some people. I think Josh Jacobs is going to benefit from that. So I'm looking at those two in terms of running back. In terms of quarterback, I'm looking at Kyle Murray. I'm really excited to do a stack with him. If I can get Hopkins in it, that'd be fantastic. And I might work in Carlos Hyde to get the discount to afford that. So I'm looking at Kyler Murray this week.
Hey, Alan, I just got an alert here. Apparently, Josh Jacobs is currently in John Gruden's office mainlining Red Bull with him. So I think you're ready to go.
And in the background. Practice is just like a mosh pit. Like they don't even do any drills. They're
it's the Raiders, man. It's the black hole.
If John Gruden played a 40K army, what army would it be?
Oh, chaos, right? Gotta be.
I think it's orcs.
Orcs?
I think it's
could
just
see
orcs, dude. Death metal and orcs the whole way.
Yeah, it
Just
could be orcs.
All
Yeah,
big
yeah.
vehicles. He just brings 9 battle wagons to the army table. Like
Yeah, I could see that.
And he's
I
just
could see
rocking
that.
out. He just doesn't care. He's like, just power drive forward.
Gary
I
said
love it.
corn. Yeah, I could see corn too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It could be
somewhere
corn
he's just
also.
all forward. Just
Yeah, something
balls
where
to
he's
the
just
walls.
all forward, balls to the walls. Exactly. All right, man. That was great. I'm really excited for this week. I'm really excited that we're doing this podcast. It's a lot of fun.
Me too.
Thanks for tuning in, Gary. We should have you on one time.
Hey, I'm gonna give a special play. This is for Gary. I don't know if Gary bets or not, but Gary, or for anyone else who listens to this before 8:00 when we got tip off for the NBA Finals. Yeah, that's right. I'm switching gears. I'm gonna talk basketball for 30 seconds here. If you want a guaranteed lock of the night, you're gonna go on to DraftKings or FanDuels or wherever the hell you gamble, and you're gonna take Bam Adebayo for the Miami Heat. You're gonna look at the player props, points, rebounds, and assists. 30.5. He is going over. He is going to crush that. He's going to be closer to 40. Bam Adebayo over 30.5 points, rebounds, assists. That's my play of the night.
All right. I'm interested.
Sorry, I'm pumped for this series, man. I've been watching the Heat a lot. This basketball has been great, and I've been making bank on these prop bets.
I don't even know who the hell that guy is. Who is that guy?
Just watch tonight. You're gonna know who he is.
Okay.
Bam Adebayo. Bam Adebayo.
30.5 over on 30.5 rebounds.
Yeah, but no, points, rebounds, and assists. It's the total. You add them all up.
Oh, you add them all up. Okay.
Yeah, and I like that because that bet, as opposed to just like points, for example, like if it's a lower scoring game, then there's typically more rebounds. So that gives you a little bit of a cushion. And the Heat, these playoffs, have consistently been having at least 4 of their 5 starters go over their totals. So they play really well as a team. They've been doing really great, and Adebayo is kind of like their linchpin right now. So there you go.
Awesome. Well, I'm gonna check it out, and I'll let you know what I think. I'm hopeful that we tune in the next week's podcast, and everyone's like, oh, "I made so much money on your bet." It'd be amazing.
I hope so.
All right, man. Take care.